This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Hope you're able to see my screen as well as hear me clearly.
Yeah, yeah. Good morning,
Okay,
Madhu.
that's great. Good morning. So, very good. Let's get going. So, we will continue from where we have left on the last session. Actually, we were talking about pandas, the data analysis library of Python, which is very important. You will be using it more than any other library. So anyway, as we do the projects, you will see more of these features and you will get more hands-on if you try. So actually today, in a sense, we'll finish this pandas topic after going through rest of the features. Then we will do a very simple exercise. Again, we'll do the exercise on that iris data set. Hope all of you have downloaded and be ready with that, because we will use that to do a very simple exercise. So once we complete the exercise, this module, Python crash course for data science, will be completed, and then we'll be getting into the projects, applying whatever we have gained so far. So it's a very important milestone today, that module 1, talking broadly about the conceptual ideas about artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning. We talked about it, and then we tried to understand the terminology that is used in AI field. Then we looked into also very important concept that anyway when we do projects, that is the big villain of machine learning, that I called it as model complexity. We talked about it, we built a little bit of idea about that, but as we get into projects, we will keep on talking about that issue, model complexity, and we develop some tactics to fight against that villain of machine learning. So that all we talked in the module 1. So to equip ourselves to do some projects and understand the projects, when we are doing what we are doing, why we are doing, we learned Python. Anyway, we learned in a very fast manner, but whatever you learned, that is good enough for developing machine learning projects. And today we will achieve that milestone. Then Monday onwards we'll get into the project mode. Okay, so it's a today it might take little more time because we have to complete the exercise also, but hope all of you are in comfortable positions. Those who are trying the code, they are sitting in front of computers with your Jupyter notebook on. And if you have already typed in the code uh, to continue for today's lesson, what you have to do is that you have to rerun all the cells, otherwise it will give errors, because you have to start from your import pandas as pd onwards. All cells you have to run once again, or if you have a lot of cells already, then you just go and do kernel and run all of them. Okay, so be ready with that. So let us move to the place where we have left last time. Let me go to that directly slides. These are all completed. We have completed actually. So in fact, this is the last topic we talked last time, that actually when you have a data frame with a lot of columns, again, we talked that pandas came up with two very interesting data structures. One is pandas data frame, another is pandas series. So pandas data frame is a table, Excel like table structure, and within that each column uh, has its own object type, that is series object. So we talked about this, the especially in machine learning work. When we do, we get some data sets from our clients, and they are raw data sets. And to be able to solve a particular problem, you have to do one very important step, in your data pre-processing step, and that step is called feature engineering. So every column, we are calling it as a feature. So the raw data set may have some features, but the features may not be useful for the problem that we are solving. So applying some kind of domain knowledge with the problem that we are solving, the domain around that, and also looking at the features that are in the raw data set and coming up with new features using the existing features by looking at how they interact and how something else can be useful. That is what we call feature engineering, coming up with new features from existing features, applying our domain knowledge and the feature interaction kind of heuristics, and build more features into the table that are more relevant to understand the problem that we are solving. Okay, so to do that, pandas is very happily does it. We don't have any issue with that. Let's say somehow I wanted to know from a flowers point of view, there are some large flowers, there are some small flowers. So I want to the table, iris table, has only petal length and petal width. On its own, these two features will not tell anything. I want to be able to distinguish the flowers based on size of the flowers. And let's say I got an idea. Okay, let me actually create a new feature called petal area, which is nothing but petal length multiplied by petal width, and see actually what is the area, and in any way based on the area the species is different or not. I wanted to see that, let's say. Then as soon as I get that idea, I can create a new feature. Okay, df, I'm putting the index operator and petal underscore area, and I'm creating a new feature, just taking petal width feature multiplied by petal length feature, and then my new column is created and it is populated with this resultant value. And then I can have a look at it and understand, is it in any way kind of like if you look at petal area dot head, the top 5 observations are actually of 0.28. Maybe I can see the species for these flowers. Maybe they are small flowers, and we can look at the greater than something and then see what are those flowers. So it gives you a better idea. If you get a better idea, automatically your algorithm also understands this pattern much more clearly and builds an accurate model. That's why understanding data is very important. So pandas gives you a lot of facilities. Okay, so we did this and stopped here in the last class. Let us move on from here. Another important thing that we want to do with our data sets is we want to filter them based on some questions in your mind. So suddenly I got a question. Okay, let's say I want to see all the flowers which have petal area greater than 10 and sepal width greater than 3. Though I have 150 observations, I'm more interested in only those flowers where the petal area is greater than 10 and sepal width is greater than 3. I want to see, are they all belong to one particular species? Then it gives me an indication that yes, through petal area I can easily separate each species of the flower. If I understand that, that understanding will be developed in the algorithm also. Then it will be much better model. So when I get that kind of thing, I try to filter data. So pandas provides you ways to filter your data. For that, what we do, we have to think through some Boolean masks, and Boolean masks will allow you to filter data. So just briefly, what is Boolean mask? We are talking a little bit, then we'll apply this into our table. But you can create a mask with your Boolean values like true, true, false, true. This is one way. Here I am defining my Boolean mask using a list. Similarly, you can use pd.series, that is our data structure, series structure. So it will create a column kind of list. So I'm creating here series underscore mask pd dot this series, and same mask I'm creating. So when you print it, it has created for you a column of that mask, true, true, false. So this kind of mask can be applied on another column, and we can get, let's say I have a column, another mask, another series I create here, example series. Okay, that series I'm creating using, again, if you, some of you are typing, keep typing whatever you are seeing, but anyway, exercise will be done totally by you. Okay, so example underscore series, we are creating one pandas column object, series object, with 10 comma 5 minus 3 2. This is the column we have created. Okay, now we have created here a series mask, true, true, false, true. I can apply this mask on this series, on this column information, and if I want to see only the observations which are positive, then I can apply this mask and see only of them. If I want to see only negative values, then I can apply inverted mask and apply them. So here, if you look at here, what we are trying to do, this is the series object we have created. Okay, so we have created series mask, true, true, false, that one. Now I am applying, I am creating a series mask now using my example series, so greater than 0. So on this, so basically I'm creating a series mask by putting a Boolean operator on my column information. So what it does, 10 is greater than 0, so it is true. 5 is greater than 0, it is true. Minus 3 false, 2 is true. So it is creating the same mask that I have just previously created. So understand this. So basically I am applying a Boolean operator greater than 0, anything positive, like that I created one mask on my column. Now I can apply this mask on my column, and whatever I want to see, I will see. So here what I'm doing on my example series, this is my PD series, the column information. Okay, whatever that I created the column. Okay, on that I'm applying my series mask of true, whatever, false, true, true, false, whatever is that. Then I want to see only greater than 0. Okay, that is why it is showing me only the positive things of my mask. Okay, hope you are getting it, what we are trying to do, because I'm trying to explain this is what we'll apply as we want to filter our data sets the way we want to filter. Is it okay? Can I move forward?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so we can use invert of this series underscore mask. Let's say I want to see in this 10 5 minus 3 2, I want to only see the values which are less than 0, that is negative values only I want to see to understand something. Okay, then I can apply the series mask by inverting it. So typically what we do is that I'm giving example underscore series, on that I'm applying my series mask in an inverted way by putting this tilde operation. Okay, so it will show me only minus 3. So by thinking through what we call these Boolean masks on various columns, by applying some Boolean operators on whatever we want to do. For example, I wanted to see petal area greater than 10, sepal width greater than 3. Only those observations I want to see. Then I can create one mask here. I can create another mask, and I can use both of them. Like I want to see only observations which are petal area greater than 10 and sepal width greater than 3. Then I can apply it on my data frame, and I can see only the observations which meet this criteria, where it is true. Rest of the things it will filter out for me. It will only show me what I want to see, because as you are, as a data scientist, you will get some questions in your mind. Okay, you want to see something in the data set to understand it better, because if you understand it better, you will do better tuning of your algorithms, choice of your algorithms. Okay, so to do that, whenever you get a question in your mind, pandas helps you to see the data the way you want to see the data. So pandas helps you, and it is very easy. We can practice, and if you use it for a week time, you will be very good at pandas. But what is more important is that those questions that should come in your mind is the problem. That will take more time. So you have to develop that habit. Whenever you see data, you have to have a lot of questions in your mind. I want to see this and this and that, and maybe it will give a little bit of better understanding about this data, so that I can properly build a model. Whenever that idea comes, you should be able to translate that idea into a pandas way of doing it, and you will get it. What I'm emphasizing is that pandas is easy. That coming up with idea is takes time. That is a habit. You have to slowly develop, and you will develop because you want to become data scientist. I hope all of you want to become. Okay, so with that, let us go and do apply that kind of things in our data frame on our iris data. Already we looked at it. We already read it into our Python PD, and we call it DF. Now on the DF, I am putting a filter. Okay, so here you have to carefully look at the syntax. So whenever you are filtering on a particular DF, you have to use these index operators. Okay, and pass the filter inside that index operator. So here, what is that filter I want to apply? I want to see only those observations which have petal area, that is df dot petal underscore area, new column I created before this, and on that I am putting a boolean operator, so greater than 14. Okay, so whichever is true, only those true for that column will be filtered, and rest of the table will be shown with other features in place. Okay, so that is how these things work. So as soon as you get idea, you think through a boolean mask or a combination of boolean masks, apply them and see the information the way you want to see. Then it will give you more hints about your data, and then you can go forward as you explore. Another thing that is important, we will do in our projects a lot. So sometimes, as part of our feature engineering, and also basically when we finally create a table, so we'll have a table of information. Okay, then our scikit-learn algorithm will accept this data only when each cell is filled with a number, not like true, false, okay, or versicolor, setosa, this kind of descriptions. If you are there in your table, your machine learning algorithm, when you give it to ML algorithms, scikit-learn algorithms, they will actually fail them. So you have to convert all of them into numbers. Okay, that is one thing in machine learning. Everything has to be a number in the table by the time we pass it on to an algorithm and train the model using that algorithm. So these boolean masks can be converted into integers, and we can create indicator variables. Sometimes we want to create, let's say now in our table, in our iris table, what all information we have? We have petal length, petal width, I'm using simple words, sepal length, sepal width. These are the 4 numerical columns. Then I have species. Okay, then just now we created another column called petal area. Okay, now I'm also interested to ensure that if petal area is greater than something, I want to put another column that let's say a column is called giant. It's a giant flower, big flower. Okay. If it is greater than 14, okay, I want to create a new column. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns are there. This giant will be my 7th column, and I want to populate that column with, if it is a greater than 14, the petal area, I want to tell that as it is 1, true. Otherwise it is false. Like that, I want to populate a new column. At that time, we use a Boolean mask and create a new feature and pass, instead of true false, we'll pass 1 0 1 0 kind of thing, based on if it is true 1, otherwise 0, and we are creating a new column like that. So that we call it as an indicator variable. So another use for Boolean masks is creating indicator variable. So I'm creating here an example mask, meaning one column with true, false, false, true, false. I can use that example mask and do this dot as type int. Okay, I'm converting that true false Boolean descriptions into int objects. That is what we use as type int. So keep that in mind. Anytime this true false kind of thing is there, that kind of column, if you want to convert into 1 0 kind of sequence, you have to use this dot as type, and you have to pass the argument int. Okay, let us apply that here. So what I'm doing here is that I'm creating a new column called giant, and how I'm creating df with an index operator. I'm giving a new feature name, so it automatically creates a column name called giant because I put it there. Then how I'm creating that, I'm creating it using this Boolean mask for all df dot petal underscore area which is greater than 14. So on that column, petal area column, I'm applying a mask with greater than 14, means anything true, and that I'm converting into as type int. So as I am doing, all the column trues will get 1, false will get 0. So first 5 flowers when I'm seeing, they are actually smaller flowers, so it is getting 0. But if you look at all the table, there will be some flowers which are actually bigger flowers, and they are, so we can see the table now and look at it. So that is how also Boolean masks are used. So Boolean masks can be used to filter the data the way you want to see the data. Okay, filtering on various columns. Then also you can create columns with indicator variables telling either true or false. Those kind of things also you can create using these Boolean masks. So far clear? Can I move forward?
Yes.
Madhu,
Yeah,
Joseph
Madhu.
here.
Joseph,
So
please,
that, yeah, that series, like the previous exercise which you are showing, right? It is telling me that pandas has no attribute series. Like, did we define it previously?
no, actually, if you you check your syntax a little bit, PD dot capital S. That is how you have to define.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So
Okay.
notice those kind of things, because in the PD sometimes they use this capitalization. Like even if when you're creating a data frame, so PD
Okay.
dot data frame they put as D caps and F caps. So sometimes
Okay.
we make those mistakes. So
Okay.
that is the way to create a series type of data structure, PD dot capital S series.
Okay. Now it is coming. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah. So whenever you are facing any issues, now they are only because of typing things. So you have to little bit look at it, because sometimes it's confusing, especially this square brackets, parentheses, how many parentheses we have opened, how many parentheses we closed, these commas and strings in quotes. These things you once you practice, you will get as you are thinking, then actually you can type very easily. That's what practice only is needed. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks
Okay.
for asking that,
Thanks.
Joseph. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So we can create Boolean masks. We can create indicator variables using Boolean masks. That is another way. Again, in our project, we'll use this. At the time, you will see how we will create new features. So we can apply multiple masks. As I told you, we can apply multiple masks on various and use an AND operator. Like we wanted to see here, we wanted to see only species versicolor and virginica. I don't want to see setosa flowers. Okay. And I want to see this versicolor and virginica flowers where sepal length is greater than 3.2. These two I want to combine and see only through that filter. Rest of the data I am not interested right now. Okay. Somehow I got an idea. Okay. Is there any relation between this versica, virginica from a, based on whatever I saw statistics, I got an idea. Then I want to see the data. So I want to apply a filter. So how do I apply filter? Whenever you have this combination and multiple masks, to carefully do that, define masks first and see whether those masks are correct or not, and then you combine them and then apply them on your data frame. So that is what we are really doing here. Okay. So I am creating first a mask on my species field. Okay. So df dot species field. What I want to see only, because it's a categorical feature. Okay. It is having description, either versicolor, virginica or setosa. But my goal is to see only versicolor and virginica. So I am using this dot is in Python. So it will see for these two strings. Then it will create true. Otherwise, it will be false. So I want to see only species in my species field column. Okay, where the description is either versicolor or virginica. So that is what I'm doing and calling it as a species mask. Okay, when I create a species mask like that, what it creates a column for me where wherever this is versicolor and virginica, it will give true. Okay, true. And wherever it is setosa, it tells false, true. Like that, based on my thing, it will create one mask, a column for me. I will apply this in to filter my data frame. So that is first one I did. I'm creating another mask because I want to also filter along with sepal length greater than 3.2. So this is a very easy mask. So I'm calling it as a sepal width mask, whatever readable name you give. Then on that column, df dot sepal width greater than 3.2. So basically this mask, sepal width mask, what it will do, it will, wherever the sepal width is greater than 3.2, it puts true, otherwise false, otherwise true, like that it creates. Now I want to combine these two masks and filter my table. So here I am using my df. On my df I am putting a filter. So with an index operator, and I'm passing argument is my this species mask. Okay, and my sepal width mask. Okay, I'm not writing clearly. Okay, then what it has shown me, this resultant table is filtered table. Now I can look at it. Okay, when I am looking at it, virginica flowers, if you look at it, they're all petal area very large, whereas versicolor they are 7.2, 7.52. Even if you look at setosa, they are much smaller flowers. So actually the petal area is a much better feature to distinguish, because we are doing a classification here. To classify a flower, maybe a better feature is actually petal area, now, which is derived from again petal length and petal width. But if I see the raw table, only petal length, petal width, I don't get that sense, except that when I described my statistics, I looked at it. Actually, standard deviations of petal length are higher actually. So that's how we get into build some insights in the data. So that is, anyway, that is a data science issue, but we are right now talking about pandas. So we have done multiple masks. So this is also a very useful thing. You will keep on using this capability of pandas. So keep practicing it. Okay, the next one is very interesting. What we want to do is that typically based on our target variable or some features, we want to group by them. I want somehow, I have a feeling that let me see for each of these flowers species, that is my setosa, my versicolor, my virginica flowers. Okay, I want to group them and see all the statistics. What is the standard deviation of sepal length column, like sepal length? On that I want to see standard deviation or mean or mode, like that. Okay, so when you have that kind of thing, what we do, we use this method on df. Okay, that is called df dot group by. Keep on always remember that group by is there for you. Okay, and in the group by, what you are passing species, because I want to group my whole information by the feature species. So species has 3 unique values, so it will put those unique values here, and then I want to calculate for the rest of the features. Now rest of the features are sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width, and I also have now petal area. Okay, and also I have giant. So for all that, it creates, I want to calculate mean of that. So first I am grouping by whatever column that I want, and then I apply a mathematical function or statistical function that I want to see for the rest of the columns. That is how you use your group by. So output will be like this. Okay, so it will give you, it groups for all of the unique descriptions in your species feature, that is setosa, versicolor, virginica. For rest of the features, sepal length, sepal width, petal width, petal area, giant, it will calculate mean. Let's say you want to calculate standard deviation, then just you have to call this dot std, or you want to do max, whatever function, you just run that. So here I am calculating median for my species group, median of every feature, and I am grouping it by my species column, because that gives you more insight into your data. Clear so far? Shall I move forward?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so again I am doing df dot group by, again species column I am seeing max. So instead of doing one by one, there is another way. Actually pandas tells that you can do df dot group by your column species dot, you can apply another method called dot agg method, aggregation method. Okay, so we calculating everything individually, but you can calculate all of them together and put a big table. Okay, what I'm doing here, I'm grouping by species, and instead of looking at one statistic at a time, I am looking more.
Madhu, we
Yeah,
lost you,
Madhu.
Madhu.
Yeah, we lost you.
I think I missed for a while. Somehow, sometimes it is happening like that. Hope you are able to hear me.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Now.
Okay. Yeah. So what we have looked at so far is that we can use Boolean masks cleverly to filter uh, the tables and see what we want to see to build a better insight about the data, because that insight is important for you. And also, if you want are interested to understand better something about the data, so you can group by some features, and rest of the features look at the statistics. Okay, thus you can build much better understanding. So that how we do, we apply dot group by on our data frame, and we pass the feature that we want to group by. So it will come into your column access with that unique values in that. Then what it does, you can also apply not one statistic at a time. You want multiple statistics you want to see, then you apply dot agg and pass a list of statistics that you want to see. Okay, you type it and then you will kind of figure it, because again, dot aggregate, in the argument you are giving a list of statistics. Again, all of them are strings. That way you have to type it, then things will work. Okay, so with that we have completed our discussion on pandas. Pandas, as I told you, is the most important library for doing data science activity and thus machine learning projects. Okay, that's why practice it a lot. And what we told, pandas comes with uh, two important data structures. One is pandas data frame, representing the whole table and doing a lot of functionality around that. And also pandas series objects, the column objects. Again, they also have a lot of features, functionalities. Combining these two, life becomes very easy, because the whole idea is that we want you to spend more time thinking and solving the problems by thinking, but the technology issue can be delegated to Python tools, which make your life very easy. So with all that knowledge, so we talked about the two data structures, then we looked at tail, head, shape, d types, all those basic things. Then we applied describe to understand the whole statistics of numerical features. Then we can look at your categorical features by include equal to object. They throw different type of statistics you have to understand. Then once you have understood the basic statistics, some questions came into your mind. Based on that, you are using Boolean masks, or you are creating new features, new columns by kind of using the existing features which are more useful to solve your problem. And then you are applying filters using Boolean masks and seeing the way you want to see the tables. You are using Boolean masks to create new columns and populate them with binary values, true false kind of things. And then we also see the finally the group by and aggregating after group by and looking at information in a much different ways. Okay, so these all capabilities are there, and many more capabilities are there in pandas. uh, as we do projects, we'll know more. But again, as I told you, those of you who have aspiration to be data science engineers, you learn it more thoroughly. Managers understand all the capability, so that you are able to guide your teams whenever they are stuck. That's how you learn it. Okay, so let's move on to our exercise. Okay, so this is your turn now to do that. So first thing is that you import pandas as PD, and you read wherever you stored the iris.csv. I sent it. Okay, so once you do it, check whether the file came to your pandas into your df object correctly or not. Look at the head, the 5 observations. Maybe also look at the tail, the 5 observations. Okay, and tell me when you are ready. Are you ready? Anyway, this is the step. Already you may be ready.
Yes,
hope.
sir.
Okay. So for our exercise, what we want to do is that because it has 150 observations, okay. So seeing all the things at a time and what is happening, to understand it is getting a little bit complicated. That is what will happen in our real work also. Always we work with some to build some intuition. Always we do miniature versions of our data sets, and sometimes we call them toy data frames. So toys are smaller versions of the large table. So I want, before we do the exercise, I want to create a toy DF out of our DF. How I want to create? I want to create only with 10 observations. Okay, I want to create a table like this, whatever you are seeing here. Okay, only 10 observations. The first 5 observations picked up from df.head. The last 5 are picked up from tail, df.tail. Okay, and I want to put one table and call it as toy underscore df, or whatever you do, toy data frame. I want to create that. Okay, so again, whenever you get that kind of ideas, then what really we want to do, we want to create head, the 5 1 through head function on df, and the bottom 5 using dot tail function, and I want to concatenate. So when you have that idea, actually already PD, the pandas has a function called concat, pd dot concat. You can combine smaller data frames and it will put a bigger data frame through that. So maybe we don't know how to use the syntax, so we have to go and read the documentation. But what we want to do, we want to use df dot head, will throw one small data frame, and I want to comma df dot tail. Okay, these two I want to concatenate 5 records and another 5 records, and I want to use pd dot concat. Okay, so how do I do that? Anything I am doing to PD functions, most of the PD functions always they expect a list to be passed on. Okay, so this is the parenthesis of my pd.concat function. I have to pass into this parenthesis some arguments. So pd.concat always expects a list to be passed on. So what is the list? The list should comprise df.head function output, comma df.tail whatever function. So if I put square brackets here, so what I'm doing, pd.concat function, I am actually passing a list that is comprising of df.head function, comma df.tail function. Then it will create me, and I have to call it as, because the resultant will be a table, whatever you call, but I am calling here toy underscore df. Then you will be able to get that. So try it. So pd.concat, then you pass an argument of a list, and the list should contain df.head function. Because of this parenthesis will be there, and comma df.tail 5 records you are putting it. Okay, anyway, I put it here. Okay, so tell me when you are ready, with toy underscore df, because rest of the work we will do it on only these 10 records, because we can see whatever is happening, we can see and understand immediately instead of 150 observations at a time. Okay, got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so basically we got 0 1 2 3 4 index, 145 146 147 148 149, so 10 records. Okay, and one issue is that species, though in our overall table we have 3 species, but because the way we selected, we have first 5 observations are Setosa flowers. Second, last bottommost 5 are actually Virginica. So in our mini data frame, this is the data. Okay, I have 5 columns: sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width, and species. If I look at the first 4 features are numeric features, the last feature is categorical feature. So if you look at toy underscore df dot d type as a attribute, it will tell the first 4 columns as float 64, that is floating numbers are used there. Species will be put as object. Okay, so anyway, now this is a small table, so whatever we do we can understand and do. Okay, let's say next thing is that I want to look at the summary statistics of this whole table. So what I do, I want to get statistics, so I do toy underscore df dot describe. This is every data frame. When you get, you do this, okay, because you want to understand all the statistics. And similarly, you do a lot of visualization that we'll do at the time of project, don't worry now. So numbers, do this and you will get all the statistics. Okay, now when statistics come, okay, as a technical person, yes, my describe has worked great, some numbers are there, but that is not the end. That is the time we have to look at the numbers carefully. Okay, what are the statistics? In fact, in the last session we broadly understood some statistics so that I can get some insight in this my table. So if I look at mean of sepal length, okay, standard deviations, actually standard deviation less than 1 sepal length, that is 0.8, sepal width 0.3, petal length standard deviations are going up to 2, little bit larger numbers, meaning petal lengths are varying across these 10 flowers. They're varying more, variance is more, at least that gives you that petal length. Again, petal width is less than 1, but standard deviations looking at like this, you should get some ideas. Again, what I'm trying to say to you here is that when you get this kind of information, pause, take a pause and look at the information, and based on what you see in the information, more questions should come in your mind, and then more data analysis you will do with your data set. Similarly, you looked at, if you look at the max of petal length is 5.4 and min is 1.3. That is why actually the standard deviation is closer to 2. If you look at sepal length, min is 4.6, max is 6.7. They are not that wide difference between min and max. Okay, so it gives you a little bit of thing. So basically develop that habit. Whenever you see some statistics, think and ask a set of questions. That is what we will do in our project again and again, because at that time we are getting more serious about building a model that is really good model, which actually is highly accurate. So keep that behavior inside you. That is what I am emphasizing. But anyway, hope all of you got these statistics the same way. Please tell me.
Yes, yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So now let us move and do. I want to see, because I got this statistically, I looked at is petals have some little bit of more variance. So let me see only those 2 columns. Okay, so we are seeing total df, but I want to see only df with only petal width and petal length. Again, I can filter it. Usually always think, whenever you are actually accessing a particular columns of the table, your df will there. On that, this is the index operator. Okay, within that index operator, let's say this is my index operator. Within that, I have to pass always a list of columns. So again, a list will start with this. What are the columns I want to do? Petal my string petal width, comma, petal length. Okay, strings. So that is how I can see if in your table there are 100 columns. Okay, you want to see only first some 5 columns that are you are interested, then you can always do this kind of way and index it and see only those columns. Now because we saw the statistics, we have a little bit questions around petal width and petal length, so I want to see only those columns of my all 10 rows. Okay, so do this and you will get it. So just type it and tell me when you are ready.
Yes, we are ready.
Okay, so if you look at it, the first 5, okay, petal widths are very small, also petal lengths are small. The last 5, actually the first 5 are belonging to, I think, versicolor or setosa, which one I forgot, but that flower. The last ones are virginica. So immediately we know that a species of flowers are smaller from a petal area point of view. Some flowers are larger. So if we want to really distinguish between that species and this species, maybe petal area can be a very important thing. That idea we got now. So immediately I'll do what we call feature engineering. As we told, feature engineering requires domain knowledge and some heuristics around what are the existing features, what kind of interactions I should see between these features, that I can think of new features. But actually this requires very good domain knowledge. Okay, so whenever you are doing real projects, one of the key activities is feature engineering, and it is not a trivial activity which requires a group involvement. We'll see what all that, but now in this I got an idea. Now, hey, I think this data is saying something. Let me understand from the point of view of petal area. So when I got that area, understanding, so I immediately wanted to do a little bit of feature engineering. So I want to add a new feature to my data frame, and I want to call it as petal underscore area, and I want to get it by using petal length and petal width and multiplying them. So how do I do that? I create a new feature. I'm calling it as petal underscore area. Okay, how do I get it? I get it from my df dot petal length multiplied by df dot petal width. Okay, then by this instruction I'll be able to create a new column and calculate, because behind the scenes there is a numpy and element wise maths is there. These operations are very simple. As soon as you get the idea, you can do it. Okay, so we will do it. So please do this. Got it?
Yeah, and
Okay, so our idea is actually telling something. Yes, here if I look at it, petal area for setosa flowers is very small, meaning they are smaller flowers, whereas petal area for virginica flowers is always big. Okay, so there is some pattern, underlying pattern in this data. If it is understood by my algorithm, it does my work very well of predicting for a new flower given the dimensions. Okay, so basically we are using that thinking, and the feature engineering is happened. So now I want to do little bit more things. I want to see flowers which are actually greater than 10 from a petal area point of view and greater than 3 from sepal width point of view. I want to exercise my Boolean mask skills here. Okay, so this is the one I want to do. I want to see this whole table, petal area greater than 10 and sepal width greater than 3. Because this is a small table, I can see it and tell. So what are the petal area greater than 10? Greater than 10, let me put it here. This one, this one, this one, 3. 3 are true. If I do only petal underscore area greater than 10, I will only get observations 145, 147 and 148. Okay. If I look at sepal width greater than 3, that is my sepal width is in the third column, that is index if you leave it. So 3.5, this is true for my sepal width. This is false. This is true. Then this is true. And this is again true. Again 148 is again true. So 5 only I see on sepal width. I will see the 5 truths. Okay, but if I apply both masks, I will see only one. This 148 is the only observation I should see when I apply this mask, because it is a small table. How these masks are working, we are looking at manually inspecting it. Okay, same thing I am talking here. So if I apply this petal underscore area greater than 10 and sepal width greater than 3, then I get my 148th index observation. I should be able to see that. Okay, so let us do that. So what I do in a step-by-step way. I create first one mask, petal area mask. I'm calling it as that. Any value you can, any variable you can give. How I am creating it? I am creating df dot petal area greater than 10. That is what we have told. So this is my one mask. Then I told sepal width mask also I will think, because I want to apply both of them. So how I do? Anyway, my this is actually toy underscore df. So give that only, not df. Whatever name you gave for the smaller data set. Okay. Dot your sepal width greater than 3, and you apply this mask together. Petal area mask and sepal width mask. Okay, this is width mask. So these are the two variables we want to put it, and then we want to apply this on my df. Okay, my toy df. Anyway, df is our big df, but here I have to apply both of them. Okay, and then it will filter me only the one I want to see, and it will show. So try it. Okay, so we can write everything in one line, but always to make it easy for you and also others, what is the filtering really you are doing? First you think through your masks, create those masks, and then whichever way you want to apply them, apply and see the filter. Okay, so
Yeah, it is coming 148.
okay, okay,
Yeah, one
so basically I'm creating the first one. So 3 are true, okay, for the petal area. Then I'm doing it for sepal width, then again 3, but I'm applying together on my toy underscore df. So when I do toy underscore df, petal underscore area mask and sepal width mask, the way you give it, but you are seeing only one observation. So you have an ability to filter through this data, and you can see the way you want to see. Okay, so now last part we'll do. Now I want to calculate manually median of my Virginica and Setosa flowers, median petal area and sepal width, let's say. Okay, so basically let us calculate the median petal underscore area for each species. Okay, in our toy underscore df. Since toy underscore df is small, we can do this manually. Let us do manually first. So if we want to do manually, what we have to do? We have to organize whatever for Virginica first and put the petal area in an ascending order and see what is the middle value, that is median. Similarly, I have to again see my only setosa. I think we are using Virginica and setosa, both will do. So I want this kind of output. So my table is actually organized on an ascending order of my petal area column. Okay, for Virginica. Okay, so it has picked up the last 5, but it has reorganized. 149th came as first index, like that, reordered based on my ascending order. This is the output I want to get. So what I have to do? I have to, on my toy_df, I have to apply a filter. Okay, then we have to see only setosa or Virginica, only for the true, a Boolean mask I have to apply, and whatever values it comes, I have to use on that object sort_values, and it requires an argument by ascending or by descending. You have to give that argument. So anyway, we'll be using the sort values lot. So understand this syntax. So what really we do is that on my toy df, okay, I want to apply a filter, that is my on what column? toy_df dot species column. Okay, and that is a Boolean operator I'm putting, which is, let's say, Virginica. Okay, so this will give me an object, that is the pandas series column, where Virginica column will come. Okay, for that only it will filter. Setosa will be not in my table now. It shows all observations. On that object with only Virginica flowers, I want to apply sort actually underscore values. That is how it is given. So argument I have to pass either ascending or again, not that, actually not really ascending descending. It is actually sort values will ascend, lowest first to the highest last it will do, but I have to sort values my table based on my which column I want to sort. Okay, sort values by column name we have to give. Okay, the column name I want to sort is actually my petal area. Okay, so we have to keep using this because in our projects lot of times we have to do this. So get used to this syntax. So basically I want to filter using a Boolean mask. Virginica flowers only I want to see my species. Then in that area wise I want to order it. That is how only I can find my median. If I have this kind of table, I can tell what is my median for petal area is actually 10.40. Okay, because it is a middle value. So anyway, you try this syntax yourself carefully and tell me whether you got a result. You will get a result, but don't make any mistakes and get used to the syntax. toy_df index operator, in that your Boolean mask, whatever you want, then it returns an object, and on that object sort_values, again a column name. Okay, that way you have to give this. Please do it and tell me.
Yeah, done, Madhu.
Okay, so manually we have done 10.40 is median. We will do dot median function after grouping it by species also, but we are kind of whether the calculation is correct or not, we are checking. Similarly, do it for Setosa. So Setosa again, you have to do your toy underscore df, okay, index operator toy underscore df dot species equal to, then give in string Setosa, then it returns an object. After the bracket, the square bracket, you put sort underscore values, but this time again by equal to petal area. Only Setosa you have to change.
Madhu, can you go to the previous slide? Joseph here.
Yeah, okay. This
Yeah,
one,
thank you.
okay, please look at it.
Okay.
Can I move forward? Joseph, can I move forward?
1 minute, Madhu.
Okay. Okay. So the second one also we are doing only this time with Setosa species. Okay. So type this toy underscore df index operator toy underscore df dot species equal to the string Setosa. So it will only filter the Setosa rows wherever it is true. Then on this you sort values by petal area. Then you are getting it. So your median is 0.28. 5 observations are there. The middle one is your 0.28. So you manually calculated. For Virginica it is 10.40. So basically median flowers of petal of Setosa have lesser value, whereas median petal area for Virginica are larger numbers. So it tells us something. Okay. So now what we will do, use it dot group by and calculate yourself median. So df your toy underscore df dot group by, then group by species column, and then dot mean or median you are calculating. So dot median, then we will get that one. So I want to get this output. Setosa median is 0.28, Virginica median is 10.40. So I want to know that. So I can use my dot group by on my data frame, that is toy underscore df group by column name species column name. So it will group by Setosa Virginica like this group, and on that I am calculating median for my petal underscore area column. Okay. So whatever manually I calculated, it is confirmed by my pandas also. Got it?
Okay.
Okay. So what we did is that we quickly learned pandas. We will be using a lot going forward. So now we have reached an important milestone. We broadly understood AI, ML, DL terminology, and the most important aspect is model complexity. Then we understood whatever needed skills on Python for us to do projects or understanding the project code. We understood the Python, that much Python. So we are all well equipped now. Now what we will do henceforth is that first we will start next Monday a toy project. It is not a real project. The toy project, the whole idea of the toy project again is to build models using various algorithms and build an intuition about what is this model complexity and how do we address it. That is going to be our first toy project we will do. After that, the second project will be a serious regression analysis project. We'll take a data set for a real estate transaction price, real data set, and apply a real machine learning workflow to build a project from start to finish and build a professional grade machine learning project. We'll apply and build a regression project. Then we will take, that will be our second project. The third project will be, we'll take one HR information system and build a classification model to see attrition management in a company, okay, using a classification model. Again, we use decent data set and use all the workflow in a professional way and build that classification model. And actually in that project we will pick up the Python model object, winning model object, and use that model object to write another Python class, so that if new data comes, new unseen data comes, whether how to use it for predictions in a new situation. That also we'll look at it. We'll extend the workflow to integrate, not really integrate and build a HR application. That is not our goal, but how, in case we want to do, how will it happen? Okay, then the last project is going to be on our cluster analysis. We'll take an online e-commerce transaction data, the purchase data, and we use that data. We actually transform the data. That's where we use data wrangling. Okay, we apply data wrangling techniques and completely transform the data and build a data that will be useful to build proper clusters based on customer segmentation, so that a recommendation engine, if somebody wants to build, can be built on top of that model. So that is going to be our fourth project. So these are the things that will be covered. So let us brush up all the whatever we have forgotten about that model complexity and all, then get ready for the Monday session and we will continue from there. Hope Python you got a little bit of grip on that, but again, only way is that practice, 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 and you don't need very deep Python skills to be able to do whatever work that we are going to do. So it is, please practice. So if you have any questions, please let me clarify. Otherwise, we can stop here. Okay. Any questions?
Yeah, Madhu. Sort by can we use in ascending as well as descending orders?
What is that? Sort values. Yes, there will be one more argument also, ascending, descending.
Right.
Yes, just
Oh.
read the documentation. It is there.
Oh, I see.
Okay. So, any more questions? Okay. If there are not any more questions, then we will stop here. So, have a wonderful day. See you on Monday. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.